As the sun rises over Eneida Bay, the city confronts new challenges that require innovative solutions. The demand for a passenger train station has become increasingly urgent, promising to reconnect the community of Namadria and stimulate economic growth. Meanwhile, the influx of new immigrants infuses the area with vibrant energy, underscoring the pressing need for job opportunities and political reform. To address unemployment, a political reform was implemented, the Great Canal Deal, creating hundreds of jobs for workers to construct historic canals. This initiative comes on the heels of the official dissolution of the Board of Selectmen, as the community questioned the board's ability to effectively serve their needs. The polling booths were now open, with 3 eager community members campaigning to become the city's first mayor. However, while the political reform was heating up, the canals continued their construction. Would they serve as the lifeblood of Eneida Bay, or would they remain dormant and a symbol of the board's inability to properly resolve the community's challenges? Meanwhile, amidst these challenges, a new figure emerged: George Marble, the ambitious owner of Marble Resorts, Hotels, and Spas. With 2 motels in Syracuse already successfully within his company's portfolio, Mr. Marble set his sights on the undeveloped land around the historic train station. With his latest resort, he aimed to capture the essence of Eneida Bay's historic architecture, blending it seamlessly with modern luxury. His vision offered a beacon of hope, showcasing how the past can inspire a prosperous future, and he planned to use this success in his running for mayor. But would this be enough? Would the city rise to meet the challenges of unemployment, turning obstacles into opportunities and crafting a future where history and innovation walk hand in hand? Or will it end up to the new mayor to transform the future of Eneida Bay? Heyo and welcome to Build&Beautify Season 2. In this Cities Skylines modded Let's Play, we'll build Eneida Bay, a vibrant city of our dreams featuring transit-oriented development, clean energy, and deep city detailing. In the last episode, we began the construction of our historic downtown by building Eneida Bay's first immigration center, a passenger harbor, and some community housing funded by the mysterious millionaire Lucas Fox. So if you happen to miss the last episode, then click on the info card above or check out the entire Build&Beautify Season 2 playlist located in the description below. In today's episode, we will be tackling Phase 2 of our development plans in this area by constructing our historic passenger station, complete with a rail yard and cargo station, Millyard pier, man-made canals, and a unique signature building as a part of George Marble's infamous hotel chain. We will also be launching a new poll over in the community tab on YouTube, essentially opening the ballots for the mayor of Eneida Bay. So be sure to stick around until the end to meet the candidates and hear their campaign speeches. So are you enjoying building Eneida Bay? If so, hit that like button, subscribe, and let me know in the comments what features you would build in your dream city. If you can't wait to see the new season unfold, consider becoming a channel member for exclusive perks, emojis, and early access to the videos. And don't miss out on our Eneida Bay merchandise linked in the description below. Alrighty, so I am wicked excited to start today's constructions, especially, well, actually, kind of because of all of it. I'm pulling a lot of inspiration from the local areas I live in, and honestly, I cannot wait to see how it all turns out. So yeah, grab your beverage of choice, kick back, and please enjoy. Today, we're going to start our constructions here near the old bridge crossing the inner bay. This will be the location for our first industrial millyard, complete with Northeast USA office buildings, some generic industry, and the paper factory signature building. And honestly, I don't know why I never thought of creating a millyard before. Millyards are big in my area, and because that is why, I think, living near them never made them seem actually unique to me, but simply a part of everyday life. So let's talk about our plan a little bit. We will start by extending out the land a little bit into the inner bay using our quay walls to create a pier. We will then create a main wide area here that will be the inner area of the pier, and then 2 longer and thinner piers that will house some Northeast Content Creator Pack offices. I'd like to imagine that these used to be the factories and were later repurposed into some office buildings. This doesn't mean we won't be adding in factories, however. In the main area, we will place the paper factory as the signature building because it just screams Millyard to me, and now I cannot unsee that opportunity. We'll also add some generic factories that will also act along the lumber production line. In other words, we will be playing an rather unhealthy game of whack the growable until we have at least 2 timber factories and perhaps 1 furniture factory. So yeah, let's start our construction with our landscaping. Now, if you've been following the channel for a while, you know this is when I really love abusing mods. While creating quay walls in Cities Skylines 2 is significantly easier than what it was in Cities Skylines 1, I still find anarchy and the ability to toggle the quay walls on and off to just be a phenomenal quality of life. This way we can simply extend the land, draw our roads in as our guidelines, upgrade the applicable side of the road that will face the water, and finally, just tidy up the landscape. Right, much easier than going back and forth filling with a little bit of landscape, a little bit of road, and then facing the undeniable dismay when you run into a water conflict, height variation, or, a lack of an actual quay wall. So yeah, in summary, I am pro-anarchy for this little quality of life. Next, let's work on our offices. Now, there was an office asset we found back a few episodes ago when we were constructing the Blackpool Drilling Company's site in the Old Bay. And honestly, I kind of want to reuse those buildings here primarily for the height variations. I like that we can place the low rise of the office building closer to the mainland and the high rise of the asset in the bay. Sort of makes them look more like guard towers too. Sort of. Well, more so in my imagination. Anywho, we will provide these offices with some ground level parking if we're able to fit it, and we will not be providing the entire staff parking spots. Instead, I'm going to be looking at the building's highest education level and provide the parking just for these executive employees. The rest will need to use public transportation to commute to work or walk to work. Because, that's what happens. Now I would like to construct our paper factory and our generic factories. Now, back when we did our landscaping, you may have noticed I kind of left some space around the main pier. This is because I want to abuse mods once again and construct 2 paper factories so that we can stagger them a little bit and create more of a skyline with the smokestacks this asset comes with. We will then fill in the space in between with generic factories, as we mentioned earlier in the episode. So, kick back, relax, and enjoy a good old game of Whack the Growable and some deep city detailing. Okay, let's come on in and let's name our factory. I think I'd like to name it the Eneida Bay Paper Co. And then let's showcase the construction a little bit and give it a little bit of a history, I think. In the earliest years of Eneida Bay's founding, a time when the promise of prosperity beckoned to those willing to harness the natural resources of the land, a young dreamer named Harold Hargrove, whose passion for woodworking and deep respect for nature, endeavored to lay the foundation for what would become the Eneida Bay Lumber Company. Inspired by the beauty of the surrounding woodlands and the rich timber that surrounded him, Hargrove envisioned a place where the community could come together to create and innovate. With a small team of skilled craftsmen, he established the first Millyard in Eneida Bay, welcoming workers locally and from far across the seas to produce the finest of paper products for the growing city. Over the years, the Eneida Bay Lumber Co. grew, adapting to the changing times while remaining true to its roots. It became a cornerstone of the local economy, providing jobs and fostering a sense of community. However, time was not on Hargrove's side. After signing a contract with the Eneida Bay Immigration Center to take on additional workforce in which to employ their paper factory, Harold came down with a rare and unknown disease that even the infamous Foley family could not seem to cure. While mourning the loss of such a prominent figure in the community, the Eneida Bay Co. promised to continue the vision their founder had for the Millyard, continuing to honor its contract with the Eneida Bay Immigration Center and evolving into a cornerstone of employment in the Inner Bay area of the city. Now, naturally, the Eneida Bay Transit Authority would want to extend their current transport line, and if you recall last episode, we mentioned that the new passenger harbor was phase one of a two-part plan to provide the city additional methods of interregion transportation. Therefore, the EBTA has laid claim to a parcel of land right here on the shoreline for an international train station. And I want to use the historic train station that came with the German content creator pack, naturally for the historic vibes it provides aesthetically. So let's get our train station in, our tracks connected, and out in place, I guess. And honestly, maybe we'll lose themselves in some deep city detailing, honestly, because I kind of really want to. I'll also be throwing in a cargo station as well so that we can begin transporting goods throughout Eneida Bay. Next, the Oneida Bay Transit Authority would want to extend their current transport lines in anticipation of the workforce commuting to the Millyard. So, let's discuss the EBTA's plan a bit here, first by looking at their immediate plans to extend the yellow line into the Millyard so employees can commute into work. They will also pull the purple line up to the historic train station, and that way people can connect to the Millyard via pedestrian access. Next, let's discuss the EBTA's kind of tentative plans. With the recent construction of the subway hub at the passenger harbor and drafted plans for new road networks that incorporate the subway tracks, the red line will eventually travel up the south side of downtown. Meanwhile, the purple line will cut east up the middle area of downtown, while a bus or tram actually runs along that canal shoreline for faster and easier commutes. So with our plans laid out, and mind you, subject to change at any time if necessary, let's begin the construction of our new yellow line station at the Millyard. And I'm going to keep this subway track above ground for now, so we will use one of the elevated stations. We will then come in, connect the tracks and the lines. Next, let's get our purple line station right in next to the historic train station. I struggled a bit to create the right subway station here, as I did want one that would blend into the historic environment. However, we really don't have any historic looking metros per se. I feel they're all a little bit more modern. So let me know down in the comments your thoughts on how it turned out. Now, in an attempt to create new jobs in reaction to the influx of new residents, the City Council has brought forth some plans for man-made canals called the New Canal Deal. The hope was to replicate the success of past leaders by creating manual labor jobs. The canals also serve as a means for smaller ships to deliver goods deeper in the downtown area. However, the canals did not have enough funding and thus were constructed slightly too narrow for the ships, leaving what has simply become parkside promenades and a history. So what we will do is come into our downtown area and create a bit of a fork-designed canal system using pedestrian roads and the terraforming tools. I'd like one to lead into a bit of a dead-end area, a middle canal that will fork into a man-made pond, hopefully in the city center, and then also one that forks right, connecting to the water on the other side of downtown. We will obviously use mods for this. Ultimately, I would have loved to use the road builder mod to create a designated lane, for lack of better words, for the trees and decorations. However, we are not able to do that with the pedestrian road, and I didn't want to create that as a super thick road. So we will come through with the planters, trees, and some benches to decorate our promenade instead. Also, if you happen to know which USA president this concept is inspired by, put their name down in the comments. Now, it wasn't just the EBTA or Lucas Fox who has recognized the opportunities flourishing on this shoreline. George Marble, owner of Marble Resorts, Hotels, and Spas, has also seen an opportunity to launch his grandest hotel construction yet across from the Immigration Center. With the profits he has saved from the smaller motels in Syracuse, he will build a grand brick building that will serve as a historic landmark housing travelers arriving to the train station, the passenger harbor, and seeking employment and immigration citizenship through the Immigration Center. So the plan for this construction is really quite simple. First, we will add the Marvelous Marble's signature building to a prominent spot close to a historic train station and along the side of one of the canals. We will then add in some parking, parks, recreation, decorations, and just give this area a unique vibe to increase the tourism income in Oneida Bay. So, refill that beverage of choice, kick back, and please enjoy. Life in Oneida Bay has grown, and with this growth, uncertainty and fear for the future has begun to set in, leading to the dissolution of the City Council and advocacy for a singular mayor focused on fulfilling the promises made to the residents instead of focusing on the growth of the city primarily. Three prominent figures have stepped forward in this campaign: Laura Foley, Lucas Fox, and George Marble. Please tune in to hear what they have to say as they campaign around Oneida Bay. When you are done hearing each candidate candidates' promises, head on over to the polling booth located in the Community tab on YouTube to vote for the first mayor of Eneida Bay. Laura Foley's political campaign for mayor of Eneida Bay centers around her well-established reputation as a dedicated philanthropist renowned for her commitment to healing the sick and supporting those in need. Her supporters celebrate her compassionate approach and her track record of improving healthcare across the community. However, her campaign faces significant challenges as adversaries argue that she has overlooked critical issues affecting the city, such as rising crimes, housing shortages, and economic instability. As Laura seeks to connect with voters, she emphasizes her vision for a holistic approach to governance, one that not only prioritizes health and wellness but also addresses the pressing concerns of safety, affordable housing, and economic growth. She aims to unite the community by proposing comprehensive solutions that integrate her philanthropic values with practical policies to enhance the quality of life for all residents of Eneida Bay. In her campaign, Laura invites dialogue and collaboration, urging citizens to join her in creating a safer, more prosperous future for their city, while also reaffirming her commitment to the vulnerable populations she has always championed. As the election approaches, the challenge will be to balance her philanthropic legacy with the urgent needs of the community, proving that a compassionate leader can also be an effective one. Lucas Fox's campaign for mayor of Eneida Bay is built on a platform of economic prosperity and community safety. As a strong advocate for local businesses, he emphasizes the importance of fostering a thriving economy that benefits all residents. His recent initiative to develop a residential pier has been a focal point of his campaign, aimed at attracting tourism and creating jobs, which he believes will enhance the overall quality of life in the city. However, Lucas faces significant challenges as rumors swirl regarding his alleged connections to an emerging crime ring. Despite these accusations, he remains steadfast in his commitment to cracking down on crime, promising to implement stricter law enforcement measures and community programs designed to deter criminal activity. He has gone so far as to state that he will personally pick each law enforcement officer pledged to busting the crime ring. He also argues that the economic growth he champions will ultimately lead to a safer, more vibrant Eneida Bay. Throughout his campaign, Lucas seeks to reassure voters of his integrity and dedication to the community. He emphasizes transparency and accountability, inviting citizens to engage in open discussions about their concerns by addressing the rumors head-on and focusing his vision for a prosperous and safe Eneida Bay. Lucas aims to build trust and rally support from the community. George Marble's campaign for mayor of Eneida Bay is characterized by a bold critique of his opponents, Lucas Fox and Laura Foley, whom he accuses of neglecting the vital role that tourism income plays in bolstering the city's economic stability. With a keen understanding of the potential that Eneida Bay holds as a tourist destination, George positions himself as the candidate who will prioritize initiatives aimed at attracting visitors and generating revenue for the community. In his campaign, George emphasizes that a thriving tourism sector is essential for creating jobs, supporting local businesses, and enhancing the overall quality of life for residents. He argues that while Lucas focuses on residential developments and Laura champions healthcare, neither has adequately addressed the need for strategic investments in tourism infrastructure. George promises that, if elected, he will direct all future city construction projects toward enhancing the tourism experience, from waterfront attractions to cultural events that showcase the unique charm of Eneida Bay. George's vision includes not only increasing tourism income, but also ensuring that the benefits of this growth are felt throughout the community. He advocates for sustainable tourism practices that respect the environment and the local culture, aiming to create a balanced approach that fosters economic growth while preserving the city's identity. While each candidate eloquently speaks honeyed words and promises, each without a doubt has their own agenda. If Foley became mayor, the city will most likely thrive medically, but would the profits return to the Foley household? The same could be said for George Marble. After all, there are no current hotel competitors in Eneida Bay. And what of Lucas Fox? Could his promise to decrease crime in Eneida Bay be true? Could his hand-picked law officers really put an end to the crime ring growing in Eneida Bay? Or could these officers be a part of a larger scheme? So head on over to the polling booths in the Community tab on YouTube to vote for who you would like to lead Eneida Bay as mayor for the coming years. Their term will begin with episode 20 and will last 5 episodes. How will these individuals shape Eneida Bay? Will they bring prosperity or misfortune to the city? Enjoy! Alrighty everyone, so I do believe that will wrap up today's episode. So, if you enjoyed today's episode, please hit that like button, subscribe, and leave me a comment down below letting me know your thoughts on today's build. If you're excited to see the next episode unfold, consider becoming a channel member for exclusive perks, emojis, and early access to the videos. And please don't forget to check out the Eneida Bay merchandise link down in the description. In addition, please do not forget to vote for the mayor of Eneida Bay. I am wicked excited to involve everyone in the future builds of this city, even if my plans are a bit maniacal. Until next time, I hope everyone has a phenomenal week.